It's September. Well, actually it's still August, but by the time you see this, it will be September, which means it's National Sickle Cell Awareness Month here in the US. And I am very excited, okay? I even got on my sickle cell draws. I'm ready. September is like Christmas for sickle cell warriors. Well, if you had to like bust your ass to earn your gifts in the form of begging other people to care. Yep. What up, folks? I'm Smalls. And first I want to talk to my fellow sickle cell warriors right quick. I need y'all to take extra special care of yourselves this month. I know we like to go hard every September. I also know that plenty of us end up in the hospital or stuck in bed from doing entirely too much and not enough. As in not enough self-care. So do better. And I'm gonna try to practice what I preach this month, so let's hold each other accountable, shall we? So racism still exists. I don't think anybody paying attention lately could argue otherwise, even though plenty still try. And try they might, but these are facts. Racism is still a thing. We still have a problem with race in this country. We still have a problem with white supremacy in this country. And thanks to colonization, we're not the only ones. European colonization, the gift that keeps on giving. Now, believe it or not, for some folks this is news. For some, it's just a bit of clarity, and for others, well, it's just confirmation of what we already know. How pervasive and insidious and deep this sickness that we call racism truly is. You know, I'd be willing to bet that most of the 100,000 people living with sickle cell disease today in the US are in that latter group. Well aware that racism still exists, that white supremacy is still a thing, and dealing with the symptoms of both every single day. And like other ridiculous illnesses, racism isn't always obvious. It can be invisible, difficult to diagnose, and in some ways it's so deeply embedded that it can seem asymptomatic. But it's not. See, we like to think racism is always obvious and apparent because then that lets people off the hook. But she's so nice. No. I met her at church though. I mean, but he loves black women. But the truth is, it doesn't always manifest as hate or overt vitriol. It can exist in friendly assumptions or polite microaggressions and even well-meaning, good-intentioned, backhanded ass compliments. And yes, even fetishizing black women. It's a thing. Don't do it. Stop. And that's exactly the type of racism we're gonna focus on today. Institutional or systemic racism. The way white supremacy shows up in the systems we have to navigate to survive. Now, studies on studies on studies confirm what plenty of us already know. Racism impacts healthcare. Chill. Racism impacts healthcare. There is clear racial bias in the practice of medicine. And you know, I don't think anybody knows that firsthand better than a sickle cell warrior. Here's why. Even though sickle cell crosses racial, ethnic, and national lines, it's still inherently seen as a black disease. Okay. Now, the fact that black Americans are estimated to make up as much as 80% of those affected with the disease here in the States contributes to the myth that it only affects those of African descent. It doesn't. Now, while debunking that myth is important, mostly so that more people get tested for the trait, it's more important to address why the stigma of a black disease is so harmful and detrimental in the first place. Personally, I am offended. See, the point is, we gotta address the racism if we're gonna make any meaningful progress. We have to fight sickle cell within a social justice framework. What do I mean by that? It means we have to keep the intersections of our identities in mind at all times, even and especially when fighting sickle cell. I'll give you an example using something other than race. Sometimes I take my mom with me to the pharmacy to pick up my medication, even though I'm a whole ass adult. Why? Because I'm much more likely to actually get my prescription filled and with little to no hassle. We're both black women, and if we looked closer in age, we might look like twins. I'm not saying she looks old. It's just that I still get mistaken for a high schooler. A lot. And she looks like a grown-ass woman. All the time. On top of that, she often presents more professionally than I do, more respectable. In other words, my mother usually looks educated and expensive with very little effort. So people don't try her as much as they try me. And I use that privilege to my advantage. See, assumptions about my age, class, income all lead to assumptions about the validity of my prescription for narcotics. The way we're treated trying to accomplish the exact same task can be as different as night and day. I usually get interrogated in ways I know other patients don't, lied to and told my medication is out of stock, or just flat out refused service. That's never once been an issue for her. This is because ageism, classism, and racism are all very real and work together to contribute to inherent bias in medical professionals, including pharmacy and pharmacy technicians. Now, folks with chronic pain will tell you this issue isn't exclusive to sickle cell warriors, and that's true. And as a former pharmacy technician myself, I'll also tell you that the darker your skin, the more of an issue this probably is for you. Now, tackling racism isn't the only way we're going to make progress in the fight against sickle cell. However, it might be the most important one. And September is the perfect time to join the fight. Here are a few fun and easy ways to do just that. Red Fridays. Every Friday in September we wear red, we tell somebody why, then we post a selfie. Hashtag awareness. Tell somebody. Pass it on. Giveaways. I love giveaways. I love giving stuff away. Now, I told you Sickle Cell crosses national lines, so that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're teaming up with Toronto-based drag artist Mango Lassie and a few of our favorite brands and artists to bring you gifts almost every weekend in September. Cool, right? Now, people have been telling me to write a book or asking when I'm gonna write my book for as long as I can remember. I'm not writing no book. Not anytime soon anyways. But what I realized is that people were really just encouraging, insisting, pushing me to share my story. And that I can't do. So I'm teaming up with some other sickle cell warriors and content creators, not just to share my story, but to share the stories and journeys of other sickle cell warriors and folks battling this illness. Here, abroad, in India, did you know that 50% of the global cases are in India? That's a lot. Need some other ways to fight? Educate yourself. Check out Sickle Cell 101 on any social media platform. It's a quick and easy way to get your learn on. Now, if you want to put your money up, check out the Sickle Cell Community Consortium. It's a collective of advocates and community-based organizations and warriors working together to unite our community and amplify the voices of warriors as priority number one. It's run by a super hardworking, dedicated, hella smart, super trustworthy sickle cell warrior, Dr. Lakia Bailey. So check it out. That's where I would recommend your donations go. And that's all I'm going to say about that for now. If you're looking for even more ways to get involved, drop a comment and let me know. Hit me up on social media. Let's chat. Until next time, be easy, fight hard, and stay tuned for a year of Septembers. Peace.